have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla.
Wake up, everyone!
There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe here. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to YHS on Monster Island. It's been a busy few weeks here for YHS with, oh boy, Star Wars Celebration, getting ready for Ghostbusters Day, Comic-Con. There's so much happening. But first of all, Jay Key, I want to say thank you for filling in with your Ultraman episode. And how are you doing?
Hey, first off, welcome back to Monster Island, man. You've been away. You've been in a galaxy far, far away, and then you're going to be heading back to the land of ghosts and spooks and specters and everything here in a bit.
Well, listen, I'll have to say, like, we're recording this episode a little early because as we're at the airport on our way to Anaheim, California for Star Wars Celebration. Actually, I believe it was the night before. It was the day before because I was on my way driving to Atlanta. We get a message from, I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to say who we get this. We got a tip off that
from a very important person.
From a very important person. It was a very weird message, and it was something like, the message went like, "Hey, Ghostbusters Day is going to be really fun. Hope you guys can make it out." And we were like, "What do you mean make it out? Make it out where? What's happening? There's nothing planned." So we found out that there was an event, a very, very small event planned for Ghostbusters Day back in California, like a week after we're going to be back from California. So we're literally at the airport, getting on a plane to go to Anaheim, buying tickets to come back out to California a week after we're going to get back. So we got to do it. We can't not do it. YHS can't not be at, these kind of events. So we're going. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we're going to be there.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, you guys, the events that you guys go to, especially kind of in the Ghostbusters fandom, I mean, it's not. Is it really an event if y'all aren't there? But it's almost now the point where you guys have to get like a YHS like rental cottage bungalow in like Southern California, because between this event and Star Wars Celebration, when it's in like Anaheim, between San Diego Comic-Con and stuff, like that's kind of like your secondary hub, like satellite YHS for all these events that you guys are going.
I know we're just gonna have to start crashing at at Troy Benjamin's house. Now, listen, they did go ahead and announce Star Wars Celebration for next year, and it's not back in California. I don't know if you saw this, Jay.
I did. It's
in
London. Across the pond, right? Yeah.
It's in London. That's probably going to be a big no, especially because it's less than a year away. It's not even a full year out, and they're planning London. So I don't know about that one. Maybe we skip a year. We'll see. I'd like to go, but that's a lot of planning in 10 months. So.
Yeah, and London's expensive. I mean, you think California's expensive, you double it for London. But it's a great town. Love London, but it's
I just don't want my
international. You're international.
Yeah, well, like, hey, listen, I'd love to go to London. I really want to go there, but I don't want my first time going to London being at a convention center for a week. I want to. If I go to London, I want to go to London. I don't want to just be like staring at a bunch of Star Wars nerds for a week.
Yeah, you want to go, scope out where some Gorgo scenes, and do some YHS on Monster Island on location at scenes from. Who cares about Jaws and Martha's Vineyard or wherever? The Star Wars sequel trilogies in Dingle, Ireland. We don't need those.
I need those I need those Gorgo filming location photos.
See, we have to tie it back to Kaiju at some point. And, hey, who better than Gorgo?
For sure.
But anyway, to answer your question, Jake, it's been great. Thank you. I really did enjoy doing that top 10 episodes of Ultraman. I've mentioned it on here before that I've been getting back into the Showa Ultraman and just kind of starting from, I won't say square one because not Ultra Q, but at least from Ultraman. Right. And that series is so fun. And, you know, I think with the 39 episodes, there's anybody could pick any 10 of them and make a case for it. And I think that's what made it fun to do the list. And I, if I did it again next year, it might even be a little bit different, but it was so fun to really dive deep into a few episodes. And it was really hard picking the 10 because, I mean, I would say like numbers 6 through probably like 18 or 19, like I could flip a coin. They all were so fun and just wacky and zany and awesome. And that is such an, like I always said on the show, it's always an uneven series. Like you get something dark and weird and surrealist here, then you get like straight tokusatsu zaniness on the next one. So it was really fun. And so I'm glad the people that have seen it and commented on it and reached out and stuff. I think it was a fun thing to do.
Yeah, it's a good time too with Shin Ultraman and Ultraman back on Netflix. It's perfect time to jump into some of that.
100%.
We got a lot of news. There's a lot of toy stuff we're going to talk about. I'm sure Jay's pickup. I'm sure your pickups are insane just because it's been weeks and weeks, and your pickups are always kind of insane anyway. So, we can start there, man. We'll start with the toys.
Yeah, it's always good to start with toys.
What you got?
So, you know, you're right. I had because it's been a few weeks since we've chatted, had some good pickups. Not as many as maybe like past weeks, but like some really cool stuff. And, you know, it seems like it's almost like it's a weird week when I don't have a new Marusan Godzilla 89. So I have a few of those. Actually, I have something that I wouldn't call this a grail piece by any means, but I did get something that's vintage and cool and I really like as well. And then there's some just kind of odds and ends things, but I'll start with my Gojis because everybody knows I love it. And I want to throw a little bit of a wrinkle in this one because this is going to be a little bit of self-deprecation here, but like to show you how crazy and insane and how much of like they have me on the hook because I want to show some ones I already have. And then what I ended up buying is a variation. And just to show you how nuts I am about this, but the one I did get one that there's nothing really similar to it. And it's one of the sparkle glitters. And I love this color. It's this light purple. So, you know, I don't have to talk about the sculpt. You know, everybody on here that's seen us have seen me talk about this a million times. Same sculpt, but I love this this light purple sparkle glitter. Very cool. It looks great on the shelf. But and then I'll tell one more. There's one more that kind of stands out. I love this one. You know, I think they've been doing really good stuff with the marble and the glow in the dark marble. They launched this bubblegum pink, almost pink marble one that's glow in the dark. Yeah, absolutely dig this one. It's a similar pink as the night cherry blossom and the one that was kind of pink and blue. They did just release a new secret version that's going to be even more like of a, I don't know, maybe even more of a bubblegummy pink than this. That's going to be really neat. I did get that. It just hasn't made it here yet. So those are the first two pickups. Now these other ones, the other three that I picked up from here, I have to show you, like, I have similar ones, but like I said, you know, collect them all, right? So this is one I already had. I had this glow-in-the-dark, light blue marble Goji, and they have a darker blue one as well. I've already had that one. I think I showed it off on the show, but I had to get this guy because it's a slightly different variation of the marble. He just has the more glow-in-the-dark forehead. Okay. So yeah. I did get both of these so I can have both. These were different enough that I had to get it.
You got to.
Oh, yeah. Now, of course. I mean, that one wasn't a hard sell. Then the next one was a little bit more of a, do I really need it? And then the third one was do I even know the difference? So that's like the first one. Like, you can make the case I don't need that one. But I felt like that was different.
Somebody else could, but they'd be wrong.
100%. So this is one I already had. This is that original blue glitter one. We showed it off on the show. Love this one. One of the early blue glitters. And this was the second one I already shown off on the show. This was the light blue sparkle glitter. These are obviously very different. Well, they came in and they got me with the middle guy. This is the sparkle glitter that's kind of darker. Yeah, but he doesn't have any of the spray or anything like that. He's a translucent vinyl, none of the silver spray like this guy has. He's like this, but with the darker blue.
I like that. So, that's a good looking toy.
And so they all kind of sit next to each other. These like gradations of blue. It looks good on the shelf.
Oh, sure.
So the next one, though, so that's like, okay, probably didn't need it, but I'll give him a pass.
Yeah.
This one, I really don't even remember. So this was what I had before. This was that light sparkle red with the red tint. This is the slightly more red sparkle. It's not full on, but there's just a little.
There's a difference. You can tell.
A little bit more. There's
you
a
can
little
tell.
bit more. But yes, I did pick it up. And it looks good on the shelf next to it. You can tell when they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
You spread them out a shelf or two. They look pretty similar. But so I did pick up those. I did pick up those 5, and I have a few more on the way, including the 3 new ones that they came out with. So I'm excited to get those in a few weeks. Well, hopefully even sooner than that. So there was that. And then I also, going along with the Ultraman stuff, I also picked up this thing. I thought this was cool. This isn't the original. This is the Metacom re-release. I wish I had the original Marmot. I think it was Marmot. But this was the SSSP, the Science Patrol Headquarters.
Oh, yeah.
And it does have a plane, but when I was moving this over here, I just dropped it off the shelf there, so it's somewhere on the floor. But it does have that. But I thought this was really cool and awesome and rad, and so I wanted to pick that up. The other one, I don't think I would have picked up without YHS on Monster Island, because during one of our episodes, I watched it for the first time and gained an appreciation for Monster X Strikes Back, the G8 Summit.
Yes.
Attack at the G8 Summit, and I got these little glow-in-the-dark Gilala and Takemajin, little glow-in-the-dark
Love
guys.
those.
Yeah, these are amazing. I was so excited. And of course, I was chanting Nesidoma every time. Nesikoma every time I pick up the Takemajin here. He's amazing.
I've had my eye on a set of those. I love those. As far as Gilala, that's one of my favorite skulls.
Yeah,
that's out
it's a
there.
great
so
skull.
That's great. Yeah,
and these guys have excellent glow ability. They do shine brightly. He's awesome. And there's just not a lot here. There's just not a ton, and so this was one I wanted to get, and they look great. The other 2 things I got, one was wasn't like a pickup I was planning. It was part of a lot that I bought for Toku Toy Town, but I didn't feel comfortable selling this one because there's a little blemish on it, but it's perfect for my collection because
Jay, I would be saying that all the time. I would be like, oh, you know what? This came in. It's got a blemish. I guess I'm just going to keep it.
I should say that more. You know what? That's a good call. But like, I do have a nice little growing collection of vintage sofubi items, like from the 70s, right? And so I did get a Baragon that was part of like a greater lot with some other stuff. So I got this cool vintage Baragon, and this was the 66 Marusan, and this was actually the Marusan release, not the Bullmark re-release. The issue is it does have a cracking on the foot there.
Okay.
It's on the bottom. Doesn't matter display. I'm not selling this guy. I essentially got him for free because he was part of a lot. So this looks great with my Varan and King Ghidorah and Anguirus and Gorosaurus and stuff that I'm building in there. But speaking of Marusan, speaking of the year 1966, speaking of vintage, my number 1 pickup of the week, and one that I've been wanting for a while, and I finally made the move to get it, is this guy right here. A 1966 Marusan. Yeah, and I couldn't remember if I showed him off last time we talked or not, because it was, like I said, I got him about 3 weeks ago.
Who cares?
So,
listen,
if I did,
show him off every time. Show him off every week.
Look at that guy.
That's beautiful. I love the goofiness, the weird tiny spines. Everything about this toy is dumb and amazing.
And the first Godzilla vinyl toy ever made. It is this one not here. And this is the 1966 release. This is not one of the re-releases. He's in pretty darn good condition. There's like if you're reselling, if you're nitpicky, there's some blemishes in the mouth. There's some small stuff, but I did not have to clean him up very much. There was no dirt in the crease. Yeah, it's great. I mean, look how usually these have somebody write their name on the bottom, and these are clean.
Clean feet.
Clean feet.
No dirt.
Exactly.
Beautiful spine gap. This is a great toy.
You don't have enough spines to have a spine gap.
I know.
So this is great. I mean, like I said, my vintage collection, I'm really only looking now for kind of that Bullmark 70 giant Godzilla from Godzilla versus Hedorah. And other than that, I feel good on that. Like if I come across a great deal on one, I'll absolutely pick it up. But like, I have a little vintage case cabinet, and it's like it's perfect. Like I feel
you'll have
like
it soon,
complete.
Jay.
Yeah, and that one is like all I need. And so anyway, so that's kind of the main event of the pickups was this guy. And the good news is I didn't have to pay like for, you can get kind of up there with these. These aren't super ridiculously expensive, but I was able to get this guy at a price I was like, heck yes, especially for how clean he is. So this is the main guy right here.
It's a lot of good stuff, Jay.
Put him next to the Super 7, the reaction guy.
Man, some good stuff there. Those 89s, dude. I don't ever want to come into your house and see those 89s in person because I've seen pictures of them all, and it's just that is such an impressive collection of figures. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it, man. And it's it's one of those things where it would be so hard to how you want to collect, right? Because you don't want to. Some people are like, I'm only buying one sculpt of every kaiju, maybe buy like company or one colorway or whatever. Totally cool. I do that as well. There's something about these Bio-Gojis that like I don't get tired of seeing them, and I just feel like they're their own little entities when they're in a different colorway, more so than I do with other figures. And so I'm going to keep collecting them until and I mentioned on the show until I don't need it anymore. And so I love the display. I'm running out of room. I think I can max out, maybe hold like 30 something. I'm up to 31, I guess now, maybe something around there in the 30s. So I got to slow down just because of space. Otherwise I'm going to be having to encroach on some of my other non-repetitive, same sculpt, same kaiju, issues there. But but I thank you though. Thank you for the compliment. I do love them. They look great.
Yeah, man, they look really good. Well, my week was okay. I got a lot of small stuff, but then something that I was very excited about at the end here. But I do want to right off the bat, I know you showed these a few weeks ago, which I didn't even know they existed until you showed them, and I said, Jay, find me those. And it's just these weird little, Mamagon and Chakra. The homework monster. I don't even know what the deal. They're just these little. They don't want to make figures of them, so they'll just make little acrylic stands. But the fact that there's any official merchandise with these two guys on it, that's a beautiful thing. I think we're living in the best timeline possible if I can own these.
Yes, I feel like when Mondo announced they were doing the first official the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, and so many people that's so important to them. They were that's how they got into Godzilla, was through that cartoon. I know a lot of people did. They were nuts. They didn't care what it was. I feel the same way with Mama God and Shukra. It's like if they have anything, if they have like any official merchandise, like I'm gonna get it. I don't care if I like it or not. It's gonna be my favorite thing ever. And when they make those in like soft final form, I will be first in line.
They have to at some point. They're missing guys. You're missing out.
Only you're halfway done with the 50th anniversary. Come on, maybe they're saving it for the last day.
It's the grand finale.
That would be amazing. Screw Gigan. Who cares?
Yeah,
50th anniversary of Mamagon.
I love those. Another thing I grabbed. I've been looking at these for a while. Sun Guts puts out these fun little sharks that I see them all the time, and I mean it's clearly like. It looks like the Jaws shark from this angle, and I just love it. It's kind of goofy. He's got big eyes. Yeah. This one is a translucent blue. And that's awesome. I realized, Jay, when this one showed up, it's got an opening on the bottom. You can open these up. And I figured that's because, I've seen a lot of people in the sofubi world, they put colored paper and stuff in their translucent.
Yeah.
But what I did put something in here, Jay. I found the perfect sized quint.
Yes.
I was like, do I have a quint from Jaws that will fit in here? And I do. This is the old McFarlane Movie Maniacs quint. And it fits in there perfectly. So I put him in this tiny little translucent shark, and
That went from a cool toy to the coolest toy.
I cannot wait to take pictures of this on Martha's Vineyard in a couple weeks. I'm just bringing this with me. Love this thing.
But doesn't Sun Guts make great stuff? I mean, the quality of their stuff.
It's such a weird little, like, on first glance, you would think maybe this is something that you picked up at a gas station in Florida, but it's a really cool sculpt. I really like the sculpt. It's translucent. There's a lot of me and you did some digging looking for these, and there's a ton of them. There's glitter. There's all kinds of colors. There's ones with red eyes.
There's the tiger shark one.
Yeah, there's tiger. Yeah. There's everything. I liked the blue. It's kind of the traditional colorway, but it's translucent. Put a little Quint in there.
I love that, dude. That is the highlight of the show right there. That's amazing.
I love it. I posted it in my stories on Instagram, and I had some Jaws people that were like, "What is that? Where did you get that?" And I was like, "Well, it's not really a Jaws toy."
Yeah. Gatsu Factory, yes.
yeah. Love Sun Guts, man. They're putting out good stuff. So the next thing I got here, the smallest thing that I picked up, but as soon as I found out there was going to do those gotcha machines, they were going to do a Tremor set. And I love Tremors. Jay, I know you've never seen it, right?
Never seen it. No, never seen it. Nope. Never seen it.
Well, let me tell you. There's like 8 of them. Mm-hmm. And the first one's the only good one. The first one is the only one that's like just the worms. Once you get past part 1, you get other versions of them. Don't care about those. But there's a set, and I was like, Jay, you got to find me this set, and we did. And
nice.
We got the worm coming out of the ground with his tentacles. That's awesome. Now I do like these guys from part 2. The little shriekers, they're basically like little velociraptors.
It's awesome.
And then you got, Jay, since you don't know, this is from part 3. This is your ass blaster.
Nice.
They're called that because they shoot fire out of their ass so they can fly. Yeah. This guy came with a little stand, which is nice.
Makes me think, what was that movie Dreamcatcher?
Exactly, yeah. And then you got your little like larva forms and an egg and whatever. The only thing that annoyed me about this set, and Jay, you already know this, but I need to let people know. It also does come. Yeah, it also does come with the full length worm. But if you'll notice, my worm is missing his beak. Because it took me an hour to realize that you're supposed to use the beak. These come in pieces, like. You have to put these together. Mm-hmm. So the beak and the tentacles are separate. And I was like, oh, am I missing a piece? And then I realized that you're supposed to just reuse the top beak for both of these. So you can't have a complete one unless you buy 2 sets, which is annoying because it's a tiny little piece. And these are smaller. I know gotchas are small, but I've bought gotchas in the past that are twice the size of this. So these were smaller than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Especially if you look at the photos, because they're amazing looking and they take really good miniature.
And they have in big letters. They have big size.
Yeah, and and these look good. They look good. Don't get me wrong, but it annoys me that they don't give you 2 beaks for the graboid. You got to get 2 sets. So, but. There aren't any official Tremors toys out there at all. Yeah. Like the only Tremors things you can get are like if you get model kits or something like that. So it's cool to have these. I'm excited about it, and we're gonna get that second beak.
Nice. Well, that brings a question, hypothetical here. If there is another property that doesn't have any official merch that comes out in the Gashapon Gacha style. What one would it be for you? Would it be Leprechaun? Would it be Greasy Strangler? Like, what would it be?
Oh, I don't want any Greasy Strangler toys. I can't imagine they would have to all be gimmicks where they come with slime. Yeah. Leprechaun would be great, man. There's I don't know why there's one official Leprechaun toy out there it's like a Bendum, and it was a promotional toy that came out before the movie came out. And you can find them on eBay every night, but they're like a couple $100. And I've never been like, oh, I want this, but I don't want to spend a couple $100 on a little rubber Leprechaun.
That's just what I'm surprised hasn't made it out in like the Toonie Terrors line or something like that. I
think there's a reason. I think they, we've talked to NECA a little bit about that, and I think that it was something they maybe have looked into and just weren't able to do Leprechaun for some reason. It's probably something to do with Warwick Davis, with his likeness or something like that.
Yeah.
It's weird that we're just having a full-on Leprechaun conversation on YHS of Monster Island. There's a lot of toy lines I wish would happen. I wish there were more toy lines for the older. I know X Plus is doing. They have a whole Harryhausen line, and I love that.
Yeah,
but I wish there were more toy lines for those old. I wish there was more Valley of Gwangi stuff that maybe, maybe was in some form other than X Plus, where it was a little more affordable. Or that movie Baby, I really love Baby Secret of the Lost Legend. There's no figures for that. Like, just there's like a slew of old, kind of silly dinosaur movies that all should have had toy lines.
Yeah, 100%. The I know X Plus, they've done smaller figures for the Harryhausen line. I don't know if Gwangi and the Strachosaurus from Gwangi and stuff had that treatment, or if it was just more from like Sinbad and and some of those films. I don't know. But there was a line that came out before, just like the Star Ace did the big 30-centimeter ones and stuff like that. That's a great one. Yeah, there are some of those those really obscure dinosaur movies, especially from that era. Yeah, would be excellent.
That's a good that's maybe a good subject for another episode. Is like what toys or sofubi would we like to see that don't exist yet, from either for movies that don't exist or certain figures. Yeah, I don't know, like that. That's a good. That could be a full. I mean, that could be a full. We could talk about that shit for.
Oh yeah, I mean, get me started on some Yamato Takaru in glitter form. I'll be like, come on now.
This guy, the same sculpt, same size, but I want him in a clear pink glitter. There's a Gwangi, up for pre-order right now with X Plus, and it's a dream figure. Like it's a figure that I will own it. I can't pre-order it right now, but I will own that figure. I got a couple more things, man.
Okay, I was real quick before you get that. Like on that, you're talking about pre-orders. Like I've been the same way. Like no, it's not pre-order; it's out now. But with Harryhausen, like that, the giant series Kraken for X Plus, the Star Ace, like especially the one that has the premium, the deluxe model with like Andromedas in there and stuff. That is that's one that I haven't pulled the trigger on yet. I really want it because it looks great.
Well, dude, I've been finding myself lately. I've always really loved Valley of Gwangi, and I know you don't love it as much as I do. I know we did a whole,
I do like it.
We did a whole episode about it, but I love that movie, and it's one of those movies that I've sort of recently found. I'm thinking about it more often. I loved it as a kid, and I used to own this. VHS. I still own it. I rebought the VHS in the last year or two because I was thinking about it. But when I was a kid, I had a VHS that was all movie trailers, and it's called like Fantastic Dinosaurs or something like that. But it's just like an hour and a half of old movie trailers, and it's all like all the Harryhausen movies, Godzilla movies, all dinosaurs. And I remember being a kid. And for some reason, the Valley of the Gwangi trailer is the one that I love the most. And I rewatched the trailer recently, and I can like say the lines as it's happening, because it's like I've watched that trailer so many times. But lately, the Harryhausen films, Clash of the Titans, and Gwangi have been in my head a lot more. Yeah. And I've been doing some research on the old Clash of the Titans figures, and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go down I kind of want to go down that road. I know the Kraken's very expensive, but the rest of them are harder to find, but they're not that crazy as far as price. And I was like, man, I kind of want to get this. Also reminds me, there is a company, is it Rebor? Do you know the company Rebor? They do a lot of dinosaurs, and I've bought a lot of Jurassic Park style dinosaurs from them. Now, they're not officially Jurassic Park because they don't have that license, but what they do is they put out accurate dinosaurs, but then they also put out movie versions. So they'll put out a Velociraptor that's clearly a specific Velociraptor from Jurassic Park 2, and they'll give it like a nickname. Yeah. They put out they put out a Titanoboa figure, but and it's an accurate Titanoboa, but then they put out the alternate version that is the same color as the one from the movie Anaconda. You know, they like to do stuff like that, but they have 2 Tyrannosaurs that are out right now, and they're both like quote vintage style Tyrannosaurs.
Yeah.
One of them is Gwangi. It's straight up Gwangi.
Dragger, yeah.
It's like it's Gwangi. It's not just the posture. It's the same color. It's the like dark bluish purple. It's the same face. It is Gwangi. And then the second one is like is like one of the dinosaurs from like, fucking Lost World, or it's from one of those other movies, and I'm like, whoa,
like Planet of the Dinosaurs or
whatever. Yeah, Planet of the Dinosaurs. I was like, I gotta buy these. I'm starting to get into this headspace where I want to start getting some of that old classic dinosaur look.
Is Rebor the one that's the Australian-based company, or is that different? I know you shared some other.
I think so. Yeah. I think so, because I've bought, I got a couple Raptors I've bought from them, like nice looking. You know what? I'm gonna grab one because they're right here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. And while Jake's gone, this is a perfect time for me to talk to you about YHS Patreon, because if you have a few bucks and you just know that you want some great content, and some content that's basically, if you sign up today, like you get like a year's worth of content right out of the gate, because there's so many episodes on there. You should go throw that money at the good people at YHS, and you're going to get so much stuff. It is money well spent, and a great Father's Day gift for all those fathers coming up. If you want to be the favorite kid, get your father a YHS Patreon subscription, and you will have that, number one in that list. So yeah, you should go check it out. YHS Patreon.
Thank you, Jay. All that's true. I just had these 2 staring at me, so I went ahead and grabbed them.
Yeah,
but they're just kind of like generic Jurassic Park Velociraptors, but they have bases. The mouths move. The arms. I
wasn't expecting it to move.
Yeah, and then this one is on. Oh, I just took it off the base. Hold on. This one is on. This one's jumping, and it's got a little base that he's on, and I just think that these look really good. I mean, they look better than like the Jurassic Park toys that you can. And this was like $30. They're not bad. Awesome. And they have bigger figures. They have smaller. They have Rebor does everything, man. They do stuff. They don't do any kaiju, but they have their accuracy is all over. They'll do like scientific like models. They'll do like embryos, bones. You can buy, accurate version of a Tyrannosaur. Then you can buy the Jurassic Park version of a Tyrannosaur. You can buy, like I said, the Gwangi version. They have a lot of really cool, like their products are all over the place. They also recently put out they did like a saber-toothed tiger, like an accurate saber-toothed tiger figure. But then they put one out that's fucking the He-Man. It's like green and it's Battle Cat. It's like his colorway. Like they do all kinds of cool stuff like that, and copyright doesn't seem to bother them. They're able to kind of get around it.
Well, that reminds me of that's kind of like what Beast of the Mesozoic is doing. Obviously, they're very accurate, but then they're releasing a special Dino Riders animated version of the T-Rex on their Kickstarter, which was kind of cool, which is going to come in like the green and yellow of the animated T-Rex, which is different than the Dino Riders toy, except for the initial release. Yeah. Isn't the artwork on the box for that also by the guy who did the Dino Riders art? Yeah. And I think they're even doing the flap up with the window, like that Dino Riders box was. Yeah, I did do that Kickstarter so I could get that one. That was the only way you can get that one. Yeah, I haven't gone down the Beasts of the Mesozoic rabbit hole because, like, I know you have, and like I'm scared to go down it because every one of those figures is perfect. And it's stuff that, like, as a kid, like, all we wanted were dinosaur figures. Yeah, I got a bunch of them right here behind me. Yeah. Well, you will whenever that comes in. I know. That's why I'm still scared to go down the Harryhausen route right now because I have a feeling I'm going to have a year where the whole focus is Beast of the Mesozoic. Dude. Well, the good thing about Beast of the Mesozoic is that, so when the Raptor, they did the Raptors first. Yes. And I did that Kickstarter
and I bought, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them through the Kickstarter, and then they add up. You know, that's a lot, and Kickstarter takes all that
cheap.
money. Kickstarter takes all that money at the same time, so I bought like maybe 5 or 6. But then I found out really quickly that like they did really well, and you can just still order them. You can order them from Big Bad Toy Store. You can order them from Entertainment Earth. I see them in specialty stores all the time. I've picked up a couple others. The same with the Ceratopsians, which are right behind me. Like those are fairly new to me. Like I ordered those through Kickstarter, and it wasn't. It was in the last 6 months that those showed up. But I see those in stores all the time too. So I actually didn't buy any of the Tyrannosaurs through the Kickstarter because they're all bigger. There's one big T-Rex that I want, and he's over 200 by himself. He's the biggest one they're doing. It's a big scale, and I was like, $200 just for the one, and I was like, I'm not even going to do anything through Kickstarter because they're all going to be available. So I like that because at first I was like scared that was the only way I was going to be able to get them, but I see them all the time. So
I think it was like $225 or $230 for the Dino Riders variant, just because because you get the box art thing, like, and I get it.
You get a print with it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it's cool stuff. Oh, real quick, before we go back off of Gwangi, is the trailer you were talking about, is it the one, the Gwangi?
Yes!
The one that had, the trailer.
Gwangi. It's that one, and it's got the most of it is the guy doing the ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
It's that guy. I'm gonna watch that. So that trailer that's one of the best trailers ever.
100%.
I love it. I believe Reptilicus is right after the Gwangi trailer on that VHS.
Oh my gosh! Those damn Danes did that to us. Gave us Reptilicus.
We're gonna do a Reptilicus episode.
Oh, for sure.
I got a couple more things. This next one, I think you got this too. But my other Mezco set came in.
Oh yeah.
I believe yours came in weeks before mine.
Yes.
But it's so weird that the second set went out first. Everybody got their second set, and then the first set came like literally over a month later. This shipped. So this shipped 3 or 4 days before I left for California.
Mm-hmm.
I was in California for over a week. I got back home and it still had not shown up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Where is it?" But it showed up, and we got cute little Mothra, and great sculpt. This is great. I love it. Also has a web thing you can put in her mouth here. Boy, ugly old Rodan, and I mean, Rodan is hideous, but they got they got him perfect. And I got him on the base here, but you can put him in this flying mode. He has another head, so he can kind of look up. Have you haven't even opened yours, have you? You're like talking like this is the first time you've seen these.
Yeah, I have not opened mine, and I only opened the first one because I wanted to see if I got cross-eyed Minya, and I didn't.
Right.
But I haven't opened them. It's not because I'm like against it. I just don't have any place to put them.
Yeah, he's got 2 different heads, and one of them
two-headed Rodan.
One of them is he's got a mouth closed, and he's at a different angle, so he looks like he's flying.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we got that.
It reminded me of the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, the 2-headed, the Rock, the not the wrestler or the actor, but the mythical bird with the 2 heads. They need a Rodan, 2-headed Rodan.
Dude, that'd be cool. He'd be so much cooler. Jay's favorite, Angus. This is a good toy, man. Yeah. He also has he also comes with a closed mouth alternate head. Love it. He's great.
I was hoping they would do something where you could put him where he could hang off of Ghidorah's neck when they flying around. That would have been the best one.
Dude, that'd be so cool. And then, of course, we have
that guy.
Godzilla, which I love. They so he comes with an alternate head mouth open and closed. The one open has, he comes with his atomic breath, and then he comes with 2 sets of arms. I love this set of arms because Godzilla does that so much in those movies. He's always doing like that. And I think that's really cool. They have that, and then they just have like a regular open set.
Yeah.
Mezco's killing it, dude. These are, we've talked about it before. I think these are smaller than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm a little blurry. That will come in a second.
No worries.
But I love these, man, and I'm excited to get more Mezco. I don't know when that Mothra is supposed to come out, but I'm excited about it. I still have not pre-ordered that Hedorah set. But I think I don't think it's like I think that's probably something that's not going to sell out. You just get it whenever.
Yeah,
these are great, and I kind of want them all, man.
Yeah, I honestly I know when I opened up the first one, like we talked about before, is like the attention to detail and stuff in that scale is like great, and the fact that they're doing, I don't want to say
spine gap,
no spine, gap. You got to give them credit for that. They're not doing like necessarily like the most obscure things, but they're doing things that you can't go out and get, too many Minya toys and stuff like that. So I think it's cool. I think they have a good approach, and I'm excited to see how the flocked Mothra with the Shobajin turns out.
Me too. I just think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're putting out a line where it's nicely detailed. Mm-hmm. It's a smaller scale, but if they're going to do all of these, classic Showa figures in the same scale, that's a nice little collection to have, I think.
100%.
And I remember I love NECA. I love NECA with all my heart.
Yeah.
But I always wished NECA did that instead of just put out Godzilla over and over. Because I mean, I love Godzilla, but it's like, I don't need 300 of the same Godzilla. I want the other Kaiju. So
100%. No, I think that was their I don't say their fall because I don't know the whole issues with licensing and everything, but that was for a collector. That was the thing. It got a little old after a while.
I still bought them all. I still have every single one of them.
I don't have them anymore, but I did buy them all at one point.
The only one I don't have, the only one I ever missed was the weird radioactive
the reactor glowing
one. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw it, I thought it was just a custom. I thought it was somebody custom repainted it. I was like, oh, that's ugly. Then I'm like, oh, it's a real figure. I'm not buying that. And now it's just the only one I don't own. I own every other.
That's
figure.
So funny.
I got one more thing, dude. We're 40 minutes in and we haven't even finished our toys. This is great. I got one more thing. This is maybe Jay.
Yeah.
This is maybe the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I love this toy. I have not stopped staring at it.
It's cool.
I think this is one of the best sculpts I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The color. This is the first glitter that I've ever owned.
Nice.
And I just want. I want to do with this what you did with your 89. This is beautiful. The Night Raid. Was it Night Raid Gigan?
Yeah, Night Raid Sparkle.
Fucking thing. This is gorgeous. This is beautiful. I love that his eye is still red.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful, man. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've come a long way as far as my my Kaiju toy collecting because I look over here and I know you can't see off screen, but I have a couple DTOFs over here that are full of Godzilla toys.
Yeah.
But it's all like Trendmasters or Bandai. It's all stuff that looks like it's accurate stuff, movie stuff. Yeah. And I love that stuff. But it is only in the last couple of years that I've really opened myself up to things like that. There was a time in my life where I would see this and be like, that's dumb. That doesn't, why is he, they didn't even fucking paint it. Why is he not painted? There's a time in my life where I would have said that. But now this sleeps with me at night, Jay. I want to thank you for picking this up for me, Jay.
That's a whole different conversation.
I mentioned Jay that I wanted one of these Gigans. I've been seeing so many people get like the different versions, and you've had a couple in your store where I was like, man, I love those, but they're not the exact ones I wanted.
Yeah.
And I just want to give the people a little bit of an insight to the conversation because I thought it was funny. I was like, well, which one I really like. I really like this one that you had, or I think maybe it was your personal. You
I only had the one
personally, right? Yeah. So I was like, oh well, I really like that glitter blue one that you got, and then you're like, oh, I got another one of those on the way. You're like, I literally have one of those coming, so I was like, mine, I'll buy it. So
because I've grabbed every one of the night raids I could. I've only been able to grab 3. One for me, one that you ended up doing before it hit the shelves, and then one for a great member of the Kaiju community. He does a lot of stuff with Collect All Monsters and especially like around music and stuff. A guy named Jonathan Portman, wonderful dude, based on West Coast, and he got the other night raid. And that's it. That's all the ones I've ever had. I've never they've never made it to the site because it is, and this is truth. Like the Marusan sculpt of Gigan is my favorite of the sculpts. And I think the Night Raid Sparkle is my favorite variation of that guy. That is my favorite Gigan figure that I own as well. And no doubt about it. And I do like the 50th anniversary, like the clear with the different sparkles. They're great. Yeah. They're awesome. But that one is better.
Well, yeah. Well, now that I got this, it opens it up. I do want to get one of the ones where it's got the two-toned, but this one was just, there was something about it. I watched a couple other Gigans on your site when I was like, should I jump on these? But then I was like, let me hold off for the one I really want. Yeah. And
I'm glad you did. I mean, I think if I had to pick one, I would pick the same one. So I'm right there with you.
I love it.
It's a good
that's
one.
That's my favorite. This is my favorite pickup in a while. I'm really happy with this toy.
Dude. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And maybe that one will be the one that swings that door wide open and you'll be selling all your NECA figures and your stuff.
Hey, don't think I haven't thought about selling those NECA figures.
Hey, some of those go for a lot now, which is crazy.
Do they?
Yeah. I mean, compared to what you and I paid for them. I mean, because we bought them kind of real time, right when they actually came out.
Yeah.
And and I was really shocked about a year or so ago when I ended up selling my reactor glow and went for a lot. I was really surprised. Because like you, I was like, really? Really?
YHS has a good relationship with NECA. We're friends with them, and we've been to the NECA headquarters, and the NECA Godzillas. I believe most of them are really great, especially for like you're talking about. It's like a $30 toy. Yeah, it's the best Godzilla you've ever seen in a Target. You know what I mean? Like hands down, you've never seen a better Godzilla sculpt than that in a Target. But some of them are legit. Like, whoa, this is amazing. But then there are a few where it's like, cool. All right, they made that.
Yeah, I liked their 62, the King Goji, the one from King Kong versus Godzilla. I thought that one was great.
I love the King Goji ones.
Yeah, the Shin Godzillas were great. The one where they have the you can shoot that has the beam coming out of the tail as well. I thought that one was fine.
I mean, 2001 GM looked good. A couple of the even though me and you are not huge Millennium fans, some of the Millennium Godzillas that they did look pretty great.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just weird. Like, I was really excited when they put out the 89. The 89 they put out, that was revealed the year YHS was at Toy Fair. And I remember walking into the NECA booth. It was the first thing we did. And the first thing I saw at NECA's booth were Jaws toys, which NECA had been like, we're never doing Jaws toys, and an 89 Godzilla. And I was like, these are my two favorite things.
Yeah.
I don't think the 89 is the best of their sculpts, but it's fine, but it's good. Like, I don't know. I love it.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you got that guy again. I'm glad.
That's a weird history of the NECA. Like, you guys needed a late history of the NECA Godzilla.
Well, everybody that listens to this channel knows if you need to talk about NECA, you go to Jacob Walsh and you go to the crew of Toy Anxiety, because you guys are always the first breaking all the toy news, whether it's NECA or Super 7 or Mezco or whoever, which I think is a great segue into some toy news.
Let's do it. You got some pictures?
I do have some pictures. The one I don't have pictures of, I can pull one up here. I can find one. But I actually want to talk to you about it. Like, after we kind of put together a few things we wanted to talk about on the show, 2 days ago, I guess it was. Super 7, like moments later, we got the news that Wave 2 had just been announced, and it was Godzilla 95, Burning Godzilla, and the Heisei Mecha Godzilla from Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla 2, 93, however you want to refer to it. So I was curious, what were your thoughts on that? I'll pull up I'll screen share this here in a second, but I was curious, what were your thoughts on the selection following the Godzilla and Flower form of Biollante release, which was Wave 1?
Yeah. I'm not shocked that they're just continuing the Heisei.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Godzilla looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you look at the pictures, like look at his hands.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because they're going like a realistic route, but there's a little bit of like, I don't exactly know what to call it, but there's a style happening here because those, like, if you look at his hands, they're very kind of stylized. Those don't, it almost looks like a comic book art rendition of his hands and the way his face is. I will say that this version of Mechagodzilla, as far as the design goes, is maybe my bottom two design is for Mechagodzilla. But there's something so nostalgic about this design for me because I remember the first time I saw it was buying Trendmasters Godzilla toys at Kmart.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of these old Trendmasters, Mechagodzillas. I'm excited for this line to keep going. I did not pre-order these. Mainly just because I'm on a spending freeze, but I'm gonna get these.
Yeah.
And the only thing I don't kind of like about it is that I think they're releasing these too close to Wave 1. Like Wave 1 was released for pre-order not that long ago. And I mean, those aren't coming out for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it's
He's
really,
like
really
soon.
Like, yeah. And these toys are expensive, man. You're talking $85 plus shipping per figure.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money. Super 7 already, like Super 7's regular Ultimates are $60. It's already a lot for one toy.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we're now 4 in, I think that's a lot. I think that's just too much when the release is so far down the road. I think they look great.
I was wondering if they did the staggered release, but like still closer than like a normal one because they only did the two figures in the first wave, and like it's because don't they normally release 4 figures?
Usually it's 4.
So I don't know if they like a hybrid where it's like we'll do it in separate waves, but we'll make the waves a little bit closer.
Yeah, that makes.
I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize it.
That makes a little more sense. Now, another thing, even though I think these look good, I was kind of hoping that, like, I love the Heisei designs, and Heisei Godzilla is my favorite Godzilla. But, it'd be cool to get a Super 7 Megalon or Gigan. We talked about it before, wondering if Super 7 was going to go for the more obscure Kaiju because they usually go for the more obscure figures. And, they didn't. Godzilla and Biollante are, 89's pretty popular. Biollante, I think is a pretty popular Kaiju. Yeah. So I would have thought maybe that the second wave would have been those more obscure figures. I don't think there's anything obscure about Mechagodzilla and Burning Godzilla, but that being said, I think these look great.
I agree. I think it's the Godzillas were that kind of really safe because like those are probably 2 of the most popular Godzilla designs of the 2 actual Godzilla designs that they released. And it's like Biollante, it's like, yeah, but we did the rose form, we did the flower beast form where like that's a little bit more obscure, but it's still Biollante, right? And like even Mechagodzilla, like if you look in toy form or like sofubi form or anything like that, you have a lot of Showa Mechagodzilla, 74 and 75, and you have a lot of Kiryu from the Millennium series. You don't have as much of Heisei Mechagodzilla, but you have a ton of Mechagodzilla. So it's like a more obscure, I don't even say obscure is not the right word, but it's the less popular version of a popular kaiju or mech.
Yeah.
So it's like it's still kind of safe. You know what I mean? I want Varan, man. I want Gezera. I want something just over the top.
Those are never gonna happen. I would have preferred any other Heisei kaiju than Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, probably so.
And I think it's not that I don't think they're so, they're kind of skipping around, right? You gotta imagine out of the Heisei Godzillas, his appearance doesn't change that drastically, and maybe not drastically enough for them to put out any more Godzillas from this is the most drastic it's ever going to be because it's burning Godzilla. Yep. To me, besides this, I would say I would be disappointed if in Wave 3 it was 91 King Ghidorah Godzilla because I'm like it's identical to 89 basically. Yeah. So you got to think the next wave is got to either be a different series Godzilla or it's going to be 2 villain kaiju. Yeah. And you got to think something like King Ghidorah is probably in their back pocket for when they know they're making more money because obviously he's going to be huge unless they want to do that stupid shit they did with Biollante and make it out of scale. Yeah. I'd love to see a Space Godzilla.
Yeah.
I'd be into Space Godzilla, but I'd also but like you said, I'd like to see maybe some Showa era.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they do another Heisei Godzilla, it better be Baby, Little, or Junior. Or maybe
a set.
Or Godzillasaurus. Throw him in there. But
I want a Dorat 3-pack.
You know what? They better be accessories when they come out with. Dude, they need to have a King Ghidorah, a Mecha King Ghidorah, a Dorat combo. It'd be amazing.
Dude, what if they did just an accessory set that was Little Godzilla, Baby Godzilla, Godzilla Jr., and the Dorats? Because they're all kind of small, none of them are.
That would be awesome.
They're never going to make that, but if they're listening, please make me a Dorat.
Yeah, so I think you're right. I think your predictions are true. I think that the next one will have to be, if it has Godzilla in it, it needs to be Showa or Millennium because they just can't do another. It's not different enough to do another Heisei Godzilla.
Right.
If they once again, if these were already in our collectors' hands and everybody was pumped about it, that's one thing. But since this, you don't have that, you won't be able to see them for a year plus. Yeah. They're going to need to throw out something out there that I think is just different because it's like, do I want to spend another $85 on a slight variant of the same Godzilla? Yeah, so I agree. So I think it'll be, my gut is that they're going to go, I think they're going to go Showa next in some capacity.
I do too. And I feel like they could give us the classic 54 Godzilla and maybe just some other random, maybe it'd be a Anguirus. Maybe they'll give us Gigantus. I don't know, dude. I'd love to see Megalon. I love Megalon so much, and I don't feel like there's enough Megalon out there. I'd love to see Megalon, Gigan, Jet.
That would be a great wave.
Jet, I feel like he's risen in popularity over the last couple of years, so I feel like that's a for sure bet if they do a Jet.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's been pretty happy with the Mondo releases that are coming out. As far as everybody's excited about it. Obviously, we don't have them in hand, and Defo Real.
I forgot we bought those.
Yeah, that's one of those that just shows up one day, and you're like, "Oh, this is awesome! I bought this." Yeah,
I love buying things and forgetting about it.
Oh, it is the best. I will give you that. But so that was a kind of the I won't say the biggest toy news. It was definitely big, and it was the most recent, there was a little bit of recency there. But it wasn't the only. You want to talk a little X Plus?
Let's do it.
Yeah, hold on. Let me bring this up here. Let me share the screen again. Share. Because it's like you can't go an episode without talking about X Plus. It seems like because there's been so many X Plus releases. So this is from the Favorite Sculptors line, the Real Masters collection. These are the resin statues, so the really heavy, not brittle, but very fragile, but amazingly detailed one. They did release this awesome 64 Masu Goji. This thing is amazing. Yeah. I absolutely love this. This was one that we were talking off air. I think any other time other than the last few months when just trying to focus some parts of the collection, like I jump on this on day one. And I know it's still available out there with some folks, but this is awesome. And yeah, this is one that I don't know. It was hard for me to not pick it up, so maybe it's something that I get at some point, but I love it because I love Mothra versus Godzilla.
I mean, that's one of the best Showa Godzillas out there. I mean, as far as the suit goes, that's a good looking figure, man.
Yeah. I mean, and X Plus, I've had one figure from the resin from the FSL MRC line, and it was the King Goji, and I ended up selling that just for space reasons, not for quality. It was awesome. And when you pick that, it's a heavy Mama Jamma as an amazing as a base. It's really cool. It's worth every penny. It really is. And it's one that, like, I don't know. I just, if you dig X Plus and you dig Musou Goji, it's one that you should totally pick up. And so I love this one. But then they also officially released, and we talked about this from the Superfest reveals. They first revealed it, but it's the 25 centimeter 2019 King Ghidorah, and that's officially out now. And I think it ended up retailing for like 600, 700. So a little bit more than I think people thought. I think everybody was guessing like 550 or so.
Yeah.
Because these things are huge, right? I mean,
look at it.
And the detail and the wings and everything. And this is what I did not end up getting this one, but I do think it's a beautiful figure, and I'm glad for those that did pick it up. When I'm spending $600, I'm probably not getting anything from the MonsterVerse. Just same. Also, like, where do you put that? It looks so. Looking at this photo scares me because it looks like it's just ready to tip over. And I know he's got double tails back there, giving him some stabilization, but it just looks like it takes up a lot of space, and it looks top heavy. So I'd be a little scared, but yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. So the bigger news from X Plus, I think, because we had rumors, we knew this was coming out, but it got officially released, and there's tons of Musou Goji, but the Godzilla store announced 3 exclusives, which it's a big deal now because through Buy, you can actually, as somebody living in the US, you can buy directly from the Godzilla store some of their items, not all of their items, because I wanted to get the Godzilla Hanshin Tigers baseball crossover toys, and I could not get them because they are not part of that partnership, but these are. So they released 3 new ones, and I think all 3 are really cool, and I had a really hard time not getting one of them. Not this one, but this one's great.
Not this one.
No, this was the model kit. So that's why it's like unpainted and stuff.
It's unpainted,
yeah. This is the Yuji Sakai modeling collection, 30 centimeter Godzilla 2002 from was it the official title? This one was the Battle in the Storm posture stance scene. So it's cool. Once again, I'm not a model kit guy. I would have the artistic talents of, somebody that doesn't have a lot of artistic talent. But for somebody like you, I'm surprised that you don't buy some of these model kits, and because you're obviously a super artist, like be able to
that's all airbrush. They airbrush all this stuff, and I've never touched an airbrush in my life. I'm more of a traditional painter, and acrylics and oil paint don't work great. I've painted a couple things. I painted that. I've painted a few things, but this kind of stuff, it looks
right here. You can't see right here, but there you have a
line
right
but
here.
This kind of stuff, I think airbrush is the easier route, and that's just not for me.
But it's a cool figure. I 2002, 2003. I actually do like those movies. Within like the Millennium Realm, especially, I think they're really good movies. The design of Godzilla has never jumped out as me as one of my favorite. It doesn't bug me, but it's not anything crazy. But the other one, which I thought was really cool, they re-released the 84, the Yuji Sakai 30 centimeter, and then they come up with the Super X here. So very cool stuff.
Yeah, I almost actually, Jay, me and you both had a 91 X Plus pre-ordered.
Oh, yes.
For a while now, and it got canceled on us, and dude, for 2 seconds I thought about switching my pre-order. I just said put it on this.
I
almost took this home instead, but yeah, this is a cool looking figure.
Yeah, and I have the original release, which is just the figure.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It is. I know it got a lot of from a lot of groups, like figure of the year that year. I think that was 2020? I can't remember. It's really good, dude. It's awesome. And makes it even more enticing with the premium there. But it's a cool figure. Glad they're re-releasing it. But speaking of re-releases, the one that got everybody in a tizzy, the one that got everybody like just super excited was the re-release of the Godzilla store exclusive, the gigantic Shin, the red clear. Man, that red clear vinyl in there. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This was it's a great figure. I had this guy in my cart and was going to buy it a few times.
I did the same thing.
And it wasn't one of those things. And for me, I love Shin Godzilla movie's great. The design movie and just the design, taking a step back and be like, the quality of the design is near perfect for what they like. There's so much good about this. I love this version of it visually, but for me, it's a more important thing is space. And if I buy this one, I basically am telling myself I cannot buy another Gigantic X Plus. And if I want to, just from a space standpoint, so if I get one, I'm waiting for something that I can't pass up, right? And this is one that was tough because I absolutely believe it's expensive, but guess what? The day that you can't get these anymore, it's going to double, right? I mean, you're going to pay $2,000 for it. So anyway, I passed on it, but I'm so pumped that I'm going to get to see 100 pictures of people that did get it and being like, this is amazing, game changer for their collection. Cause it is awesome.
It is. Yeah. This is kind of like a dream figure, but yeah, I did the same thing. I put it in my cart a couple times and just said, I cannot do this. So one of these days, those Gigantics, man, they're great, but I don't know where if I bought a Gigantic X Plus, it would just sit in the middle of the floor in my toy room, along with my vintage Ewok treehouse and and half of the other things that are on my floor right now.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's one of those things like for those out there, I think sofubi collectors especially, but like even people that collect bigger premium items, hot toys. I know you dabble in that, especially with Star Wars and things. And there's a lot of it's timing, because if you have unlimited funds out there, awesome. I'm pumped for you. Great. For those other 99.9% of us that don't have unlimited funds and unlimited space, sometimes it's timing, right? It's like, maybe you have just got a promotion, maybe you had some money clear up, maybe you just renovated your room or sold some things or moved some things around pops up and it makes sense. You can buy it there. And, if this would have popped up a year ago, I would have bought this without blinking, but because of space limitations, because of this, that, or the other, timing matters. And you have to, like I said, you have to make that call. You can't buy everything. Like I said, if you can, once again, kudos to you. But this is one that I think just with timing, it's just not going to be in the cards for me, but it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love it, man. All these no matter what, X Plus is always good stuff. They're always killing it. I don't think I've ever seen an X Plus figure, even if it was something that even if it's a movie or a kaiju, I don't give a fuck about. I'm still like, well, I want it.
Yeah, 100%. So speaking of Shin, we'll end the toy news on this. I would say, really over the last year, talking sofubi and manufacturers, two companies have really, I think, risen to the top as far as I feel everybody's talking about them. One is Saru Jirushi, and we've talked about their stuff and the Burning Godzillas and some of the other stuff they're doing. That's not who I'm talking about here today. Mm-hmm. The other right there is Passion Tank, and their Shin Godzillas are just they're like darlings of the kaiju collecting community right now. Yeah. I don't own any. I've talked to people that have just got their first ones, and they're like, Jay, dude, they are amazing. And so with Treasure Festa Online 7, they just announced these 3 new ones. They did a frozen painted one, they did an awakened one, and they did a unpainted glow in the dark. And I absolutely love these. Ooh. These are absolutely gorgeous. They definitely have the sofubi look and feel, but it's still that menacing, grotesque Shin Godzilla appeal. This is the frozen one. It looks awesome.
Mhm.
The glow in the dark one. I mean, it's glow in the dark, so you're gonna love that. But this guy, look at that.
Oh yeah, that purple.
I mean, yeah, that is amazing. So I know these things can be expensive. I mean, these are $300, $400, $500, $600 toys when they get out there kind of on the secondhand market, sometimes more. I haven't picked one up yet. I think if this one down the line comes available, this might be the one that I dip my toes in the passion.
What are these like? How big are these?
You know, I don't have a listing on the height. I think they're pretty large, though. I want to say they're kind of like that 10, 11, 12 inch tall.
Yeah.
Correct me on that. I said I don't have one. I'm just going off kind of memory and trying to put scale in the videos of unboxings that I've seen. But they're big guys. They're very large. They're not small.
Now, Jay, this was making me think, and I can't remember. And you can cut this out if I've already shown this off, but I cannot remember if I showed off on the show because it's been a couple weeks since we've done a show.
Yeah.
Did I show off those gold Shin gods? Those
no,
gold
you did
glitter?
Not. Nope.
I didn't.
Nope. You got to show those off, man. The Sun Guts ones.
We'll come back to them then.
Okay.
I'll get them out and we'll do the toy talk and then I'll come back to them.
Well, I think that's it. I think all the rest of kind of
is that it?
I think so. I think the rest of our quote unquote news was really kind of leading into like movie related news and then leading into our discussion on the MonsterVerse. So yeah, I think that was it from a toy standpoint. Yeah. So show these bad boys off.
We'll show off some more toys then.
The pictures on Instagram that you posted were phenomenal.
Maybe I showed them off on Toy Anxiety or something, but it's just been so many. I feel like I got these toys a month ago, and maybe I did. It's just that we haven't recorded. So yeah, I did pick up a set of these Sun Guts, kind of glitter gold pink. It looks like a piece of salmon. Got this guy, and I got the little. Look at this fucking dude, man.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite sculpts all time. Time. And like it's hard to tell, but his tail, it's not going to pick it up. But like the tips of his tail is completely translucent. Like it goes beyond his tail actually goes beyond the color, and there's a little bit of translucency there, and they're both like that. But I love the Sun Guts Shin Godzilla sculpts. Yep. I need a big one now. I got this, the third form in the the Wonderfest exclusive, the red one.
Oh yeah, I love the red one.
But this guy is so cool. I love this little. I found these guys. I was watching an auction, and like luckily nobody else bid, and I picked these up. Man, Sun Guts that's becoming one of my favorites, dude. I just love their Shin Godzillas. I need their final form Shin. These guys are great.
Yeah. They do great stuff. That's perfect for you because I know you have like obviously your whole collection of cute kaiju, and that's kind of walks that fine line between it could be kind of the
cute and disgusting.
And disgusting as well. Yeah. It's a perfect perfect Jacob Walsh mix.
I just love Shin so much, man. I just love how weird and disgusting it looks, and it's just this thing looks like I don't know, man. It's like it borders on cute, but also maybe get it away from me. Like it's got its big eyes. It's kind of creepy. Yeah, I just love the Sun Guts
next to it. It's gonna eat your insides out. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. These are staying behind the glass with my X Plus Shin. That's in here.
Oh man, I love that. That's awesome. But yeah, that's it on toys. I know we had a couple I wanted to mention a couple news things from a film standpoint, which I feel we haven't talked about in a long time. And then we can kind of talk about the bigger news around kind of MonsterVerse and how we're feeling on that, because I feel like there's been a ton of news on that as well. But on the other front, like the one, you know what, I'm actually going to share my screen again. I think this one warrants a picture just because, we might not have the same familiarity with it. And, I don't want to speak for everybody because I'm sure some people do. I'm going to pull this one up here. There we go. That bad boy. But SRS Cinema, who we love, they've brought so many obscure, low budget indie, in this case, Lost for a long time, Kaiju films, and allow us to buy them, and they also gave us War of the God Monsters, so we'll let them pass on that. But they've done more good than bad.
True.
But anyway, they found this lost South Korean kaiju film, Space Monster Wangmagwi, I guess is how you say it. I don't know. And I'd never heard of this. So I feel bad because if you read the sales materials and the description, it's like, besides the 1930s Japanese Kongs and the original Great Buddha arrival in the South Korean Bulgasari, which, Bulgasari in North Korea was made from, like those I knew all 4 of those. This is the 5th most, desired, holy grail of kaiju cinema. So I'm like, okay.
Says who? Says SRS Cinema.
It is sales material, it's marketing materials. But but I'd never heard of this. So I'll, full transparency. It's a 1960s, 1967 to be exact, South Korean film. It literally translates to Space Monster Big Devil, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. I wish they would market it as that. Sounds way cooler than Space Monster Wangmagwi. And so this was thought to be lost for many, many decades. Korean Film Archive, I guess, found it, screened it at some festivals. Never had a physical media release. And they're bringing it to us. So I was curious, I didn't know if you'd heard of it either, or if you'd heard of it or haven't heard of it, but I'm kind of excited. This image is really cool. And this monster looks great.
Yeah, I'd also never heard of it, man. But I'm all for old, long lost kaiju films. It looks insane. And the thing that I like about SRS Cinema is that they're probably going to also put this out on VHS.
Yeah.
And I'll probably buy it on VHS over the DVD or the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Just because I love that. I love having VHS copies of things. So I think that's cool. And it'd be cool if they can get those other 4.
They will not be able to get. I think the first 3 I know are lost because of the first 2, the Kong ones that do the war. I think they just those are actually lost. I don't, and I think Great Buddha Arrival. I don't know I don't know the whole history of the. Sorry, I know it's been said it's a lost film, but I don't know if it's we know 100% that it's lost and never coming back, or if it's I don't know. I don't know.
It's out there,
but I know
maybe.
Yeah, if there was a print left of one of the 30s Kongs, the 2 Japanese Kongs.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do think the kaiju world would lose it. I think that's
For
the
sure.
one. Great Buddha Arrival.
That's the thing that people actually know about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the stills or the imagery from the advertisement stuff, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Buddha Arrival, I think people would be excited about. I think even Bulgasari, I think people would be excited about. I do think those 30s Kongs would just be that would be something that would be very, very changery, for lack of a better term. But so there was that, and the other thing, and because we haven't recorded in a while, we would have talked about this 2 weeks ago. But when Shin Ultraman was released now 3 weeks ago, probably 4 weeks ago by the time we talk about this, it was #1 in Japan for 2 weeks. And then it was just replaced this past week by Top Gun Maverick. But it's brought in about 2.7 billion yen. And now here's the thing that is, it's fluid. Week 1, when it was #1, it, I think, surpassed their expectations on what it was going to do in the box office for opening weekend. It actually did better than Shin Godzilla, and we know that captured all the awards, and that was a huge hit and stuff. And that was great, but then it kind of petered off, and now it's actually pacing to probably only bring in about half as much as Shin Godzilla.
Okay,
which obviously is not as ideal, but I didn't know what the numbers were. The only thing I could find when doing a little bit of I say research, I looked at 3 articles, but the only thing I could find was, I know before it was released, Subaraya Productions said that they thought it could bring in 10 billion, and it looks like it's going to fall pretty short of that. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be viewed as a positive and negative, or if it's good enough to keep this momentum of this Shin Japan Heroes universe with Shin Godzilla, Shin Kamen Rider, and Evangelion and stuff all kind of alive. I don't know, but the opening week, it was all the talk and the rage was how great it was doing. So I don't know. It seems that it's doing okay.
Yeah, seems. I feel like I've heard good things. I've seen some articles where it's getting some praise, but I haven't dived too deep into any of that. I haven't. I've tried not to. I've kind of tried to put it out of my mind a little bit because I'm
Same.
annoyed that I can't watch it. And I just want to see it, and I don't want to like read too much about the movie itself before we're able to see it.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I was hoping that it would get the kind of that limited U.S. release, like Shin, right? Shin Godzilla. Can't say just Shin anymore.
Can't say Shin.
I know, right? Shin Godzilla. But then we just found out over the weekend that it's getting its North American debut is going to be part of some film festival in Montreal. So like we're getting close. Canada's closer.
It's closer, sure, but I still can't see it. I've been a little disappointed with a lot of. I don't like that Netflix doesn't put its stuff on DVD or stream. It annoys me that the entire anime trilogy is like I think there's some. I think it's on DVD in Japan. I think you can get it over there.
And Singular Point or something.
But yeah, what I was gonna say was Singular Point too. It annoys me that I don't have those in my physical media catalog. And this is just another one. It's like I want this immediately. I know it just came out, but
I want it now. Yeah, and I've been able to stay away from all spoils, any videos. It's been very, very, very hard to do that. But I'm hoping to go in.
I won't say what I've seen because I don't know if it's real or I've seen two things that I don't know exactly. One thing was in the form of a toy. But because there's so much Ultraman stuff out there, I'm not 100% sure if it's a toy from the film, or if it's from something else. I saw some discussion on Twitter, and they were like, "Hey, if you don't want to be, you want to go in completely fresh, don't look at SH Monster Art's website. They're posting Shin Ultraman stuff." And like an idiot, I looked at something, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" But then I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually from the film. And then I saw another thing that I think I think it's a spoiler from the film, but it made me so happy. Like I was like, it made me very excited, and I was like, oh my God, I hope this is real. But yeah, but that's it. But as far as plot and all that, I don't know if there's any weird shit happening. Like I can only assume that because it's from the same mind as Shin Godzilla, that something weird is going to be in this movie. But so far, all the trailers, it just seems like straightforward Ultraman. You know what I mean? It just seems like a straightforward Ultraman story. Like the Kaiju and Ultraman, they look, Shin Godzilla is insane. It's insane. He looks insane. Yeah. The story's weird. So you would assume Shin Ultraman would be the same way. But so far, it just looks like Ultraman. It looks like, I'm fine with that, but I don't want to know if there's something that goes weird, in the film.
That's what I'm curious because, obviously, Shin Godzilla was Anno and Higuchi together co-directed, right. And this one's just Higuchi. So they're both working on Shin Kamen Rider, and that early footage looks really good. But anyway, I'm curious if Anno is the guy that brings that other element. I don't know.
I think probably because isn't Anno the one who did all the Ava stuff and the
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any of that?
No, I haven't. No, just
okay. Well, then let me tell you, he's the weird one, dude. Because a lot of the weird stuff in Shin Godzilla is like it is very indicative of Evangelion. And did you ever watch the what was the short he did? That's like there's like a short kaiju film he did that's just like I forget what it's called, but it's like the God Monster or something, and it's like maybe it's a few minutes long, and it's like a kaiju just shows up in Japan one day, and it's very much got the Shin Godzilla like laser. It's weird, but it looks a lot like you can look at Shin. I mean, even the music in Shin Godzilla is Evangelion music. Some of it is. So I think he's 100% the weird one, and. Just go watch one. That's your homework. Watch one episode of Ava. It's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up on it. I mean, it's gonna be part of this kind of like Shin Japan Heroes universe.
Good luck. I tried to. I'm not John Yerkeba, man. I tried to catch up on Ava at one point, but it's like I think there's only 3 seasons of the show, but then there's like 3 movies, but then they remade the 3 movies, and then the movies like kind of remake the show. it is confusing. I had a friend who was really deep into Ava and they really loved it. And they tried to explain like, well, you don't really, if you don't want to watch the show, you can just watch the movies because the show's, but they change things. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? So I've seen the first 2 movies. I've seen, the first season of the show, but it's like, it is weird, but it's a bunch of weird kaiju fighting. It's Pacific Rim. Like Pacific Rim is a ripoff of Ava, except they cut out all the weird shit,
Well, after that, man, I shouldn't complain about not understanding what orthogonally diagonalize means. So
you're not gonna understand, dude. It's just a bunch of weird fucking.
Well, speaking of weird stuff, I think we can chat MonsterVerse if you want to.
Let's do it. Might as well.
Well, no, I was when we were thinking about what to talk about for this show, because we knew we were going to talk a lot of toys. We didn't want to do like a full like movie breakdown or a big theoretical discussion on something, because we knew like a lot of the discussion would be about toy news and our toy pickups since we hadn't talked in a while. So we threw out like, look, we really haven't kind of talked about our feelings on all of the new news on the regarding the MonsterVerse. We've talked about bits and pieces and stuff, but we haven't had a kind of a sit down on where we're at and like to level set. We know that there is another MonsterVerse film coming out, as it was released, a sequel to Godzilla versus Kong, but I think we all can probably agree it's probably more along the lines of Son of Kong, which was the initial rumor. Do you still feel that way?
Well, I thought that was a rumor, but then I thought they came out and they were like, yes, Son of Kong. But then it kept getting called. I think they came out at one point and officially said, we're going with Son of Kong. But then I think the articles are still just calling it Kong versus Godzilla Part 2.
Yeah, and because they have the license now, like it could be.
And it's
but
the same director. So
Guard, yep. And then they did confirm Dan Stevens. Once again, since we've last talked, they confirmed Dan Stevens from Downton Abbey is going to be one of the main actors. So they have a real actor in there.
Dan Stevens made a movie with Adam Wingard called. Oh my God, what is it called? I'm blanking on this movie. The Guest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This movie's great. And I think I've seen a few things by Adam Wingard, and I think he's a fine director. I kind of would have preferred if I like that they were having different directors do the MonsterVerse films. I still, out of all of them, think Gareth Edwards has done the best job at making of a good, like a real Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of prefer that feel over Kong versus Godzilla feel, even though I like that movie. But go watch The Guest. That's a real movie. It's good. It's kind of funny. It's dark. It's like there's weird shit happening. But Dan Stevens is great in it. So I am excited to see him in a MonsterVerse film. Hey, he's also in Colossal.
Is he?
He's her boyfriend. He's Gloria's boyfriend.
Yes, the original. Yeah, that she did the breakup. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yep.
Oh, so he's kaiju. Yeah, he's a kaiju veteran, man. I totally forgot about that. That's awesome, dude. So we have that. We have that floating out. This big movie, whether it has Godzilla or not. I'm excited for that, but it's hard to really to rank my excitement or to quantify it because I don't know if it's going to have Godzilla in it. I don't know enough about it yet, right? So I'm happy they're moving forward with something because, like I said, even though I don't want to speak for you, but even though the MonsterVerse, is probably not going to be replacing any of the other eras of Godzilla, as far as our favorite. It succeeds here in the US, that's just good for the license and the property overall, and we get more shit, right? So that's good. Exactly. We have that. And the other news that's been out there for a long time, but we don't have a ton of information, is we have the animated Netflix Kong Skull Island show. It's the same people that did like He-Man Revelations and Castlevania and Blood of Zeus. That's going to be good. I have no worries at that on that one not being awesome and cool. I think it's
an animated.
Yeah. And it's going to be
animated Netflix, whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be solid, and they're going to Skull Island will be a fun kind of playground to do some cool stuff and some cool kaiju and everything. But the big one, I think the one that I think of talking about because we know more about it now than we did even a month or so ago. Was we knew in January Apple TV Plus confirms they're going to do a MonsterVerse series. I think we all were shocked but excited. And then we found out that, and I'll skip around a little bit. We found out that the director from WandaVision, Matt, what's his last name? Something like that. He'll direct the first episodes and then be the executive producer. But then we started understanding and a little bit more about the plot. And this is where I think is where the conversation, I think, for Kaiju fans needs to be. And like, what do we feel about this? Is it's going to take place right after the 2014 Godzilla defeats the Muto, does the amazing kiss of death, and before King of the Monsters, when we see all kind of the Titans in their areas, right? And we know that there's a lot of them. And so, and I'll quote this just so we're all on the same page here. The series will explore one family's journey to uncover its buried secrets and a legacy linking them to the secret organization known as Monarch. All take place in this middle 5-year period between Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters. What are your initial thoughts about hearing that? And then you can talk about just overall your kind of general excitement.
I was shocked, first of all, that we're getting any of this stuff. I thought, like most people, that Kong versus Godzilla was the last. I thought that was going to be it for American stuff.
I'm on record saying
that was done. Yeah, well, I think they were on record saying that too. I think they were like, "Hey, that's going to be it." But I think it did a little better than they expected. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. Right when vaccines were going out, that movie came out. It was, it was in the theater, but it was also straight to HBO. But I think it did better than people thought. People were like excited for it. And this kind of stuff, like, I feel so weird about the MonsterVerse because I love all of it and I've had fun with all of it. But when I go back and watch Godzilla versus Kong, I'm just like, this is so stupid. I'm like, so much of this is dumb. Some of it is bad. It's like just because it's Godzilla, just because it's big monsters doesn't mean that it can't be a good movie. 2014 is legitimately a good movie. It's not just popcorn watch monsters fight. It's like it's a good movie. It's got good acting in it. It's got good writing in it. And then you cut to Godzilla versus Kong and you got like Millie Bobby Brown and like those, all the conspiracy guy, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. The monster stuff's fun, but all the human stuff in that movie sucks.
Yeah.
So like it's like
our review back when it came out, like we're like overall positive, but like there's some definitely weak areas in it.
Yeah. So like part of me is like, it's like, oh, so it's the same director, so it's just gonna be more of that same shit. And I'm like, I'd rather it be more like 2014. But the show being set in those 5 years where there's not as many monsters around, maybe the show will be more like that. Plot sounds more like 2014 than it does King of the Monsters, where there's just shit happening. So I'm excited for that. I don't know how well Apple TV does. I don't have that. I don't know anybody who has that. I'm gonna have
you gotta get from Ted Lasso, man. Ted Lasso was amazing.
I've never seen Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso is great.
It's just like, it seems like, oh yeah, of course Godzilla's going to the streaming service that you hear the least about. It's not going to any of the big. It's not going to Netflix or HBO or any of those. It's going to fucking Apple
Prime,
TV. But so that's kind of sucks. But I think it's going to be the kind of thing where you're getting a lot of new monsters. I don't think they're going to be shelling out money for a bunch of Toho kaiju we know, for not for an Apple TV show. It's going to be a lot of made up, kaiju. But I'm okay with that.
I agree. That doesn't bother me. Like, I think the positive is, like, I think giving not only a bigger visual, time on screen, a background, a backstory to some of the Titans that they talked about and that you saw on their map. legends of that region. Like you saw it was Titanus Mokele Mimbe in Africa, but like you don't see an image of it. Or
Right.
or there, we talked about the one that makes me so happy is Yamato no Orochi. And they're all tied, to Leviathan and even
I think
Methuselah and the ones that we saw.
I think the Behemoth is kind of popular. You see a lot of people talk about Behemoth, and there's figures out there for him. He's got 2 seconds of screen time in King of the Monsters, but a lot of people really love him. So yeah, maybe we'll get some more of that stuff. I just think like
series. If it's a series, they almost have to like they could even episode it out to where it's like how Godzilla, I don't know, defeated them or whatever, engaged them, and then how they ended up in how they came up and they was like, oh crap, there's a giant behemoth, elephant, woolly mammoth, mastodon monster here, and how they eventually got them enclosed, kind of encapsulated in their little pens.
True,
yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of places it could go, and it sounds like whatever the movie is, it's going to be closer to Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, I agree.
In tone and everything, and it's going to be weird. And part of me hopes that it is just a Kong movie.
Me too. Me too.
I don't need Godzilla in the show, and I don't need another Godzilla versus Kong or another Godzilla Kong team up. I'd rather it be Son of Kong and have Kong exploring, fucking inner Earth, Middle Earth,
Hollow
Earth, Middle Earth, with all the hobbits.
Hey, you could Lord of the Rings. So that's Prime. Prime has that one, right? I think,
dude.
Right? That would be hilarious.
Kong I'd rather that be all Kong and be the kind of silly stuff, and then let the TV show be the little more serious 2014 style.
And here's the thing that we don't know. We don't know the details of the license with Toho, because they could be, hey, we'll give you the license, but we're still going to do Toho movies and stuff. You can have Godzilla on TV, and like maybe Godzilla. That's why they're going back in time, because you could do the series in 2014 to 2019, Godzilla and these Titans, and have Godzilla have the Toho license. Kong is moving forward, pushing it forward, because if you did the series set in the future, like after Godzilla versus Kong, then the natural question is going to be, well, when are they going to cross over again? Right.
Right. Yeah.
I think that doing this, especially if the series is strong. So I think it's a safe thing for them to do. I'm encouraged by the director from WandaVision. I thought WandaVision was creative, and especially those last few episodes were good. So that makes, I'm a little bit more excited and optimistic from what the quality of the show will be, more for the series than the movie. I'm a little more excited about seeing what the movie can be from a timeline standpoint. I'm not a huge fan of going back and exploring a time period when we know what started it and what ended it. It just, you set yourself up to a disservice. It's like, no,
for sure.
There's Rogue One, and Rogue One was great, but like at the end of the day, it can never be amazing, because like no matter what you want to do and how you put it aside, what happens, right?
So it's happening right now with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's it just, like I said, you set yourself up for a disservice. It's an uphill battle. So I wasn't super pumped that it was a look back, but it's still, they could do some really cool stuff with it.
Yeah. I'm just excited there's more Godzilla. Now, I would prefer Toho to do something. I want a new Toho Godzilla really badly.
Yes.
And it seemed like they were like kind of teasing, with the rides and all the new designs that we were seeing and stuff. And it felt like maybe we were about to get an announcement, but I don't know. I don't care where it comes from. I just want it. I want there to be more. Yeah. I love 2014 Godzilla, and I love the American, I love the MonsterVerse that's happening. But it, like you said, it's never going to be Toho.
Yeah.
So
I don't have that emotional connection to it. I like it because of it. It's Kaiju and it's Godzilla, and I'm going to gravitate towards it. I shouldn't even like it, but I'm going to gravitate towards it.
I'll tell you what, man. I've been seeing there's new MonsterVerse figures in the stores right now. Walmart and Target have a whole new line of MonsterVerse figures, and I have passed on every single one that I've seen. And I've never done that before. I own every toy. I own every toy for 2014. Mm-hmm. I didn't get all the Kong stuff, but I got all the Godzilla versus Kong stuff. I bought all of it. Yeah. King of the Monsters too.
Into 20, but so you got all that.
Yeah, King of the Monsters. I own all of it. but I'm seeing the MonsterVerse stuff, and I'm like, it's just the same toy over and over. It's literally the same toy, just in a different package. And like, I buy all the MonsterVerse stuff, and it immediately goes into storage because it's not the kind of stuff that I have room to display. And it's not the cool. It's not the like, it's fucking.
There's
Walmart,
no glitter.
It's not. It's not the glitter. It's not an X Plus. It's not vintage. And I've gotten to the point where all my shit is either vintage or it's a little higher scale than the stuff that you could just go buy at Walmart. So I've been like, I might pick up some of them. They're still doing the. There's what is it? The Ultima. There's the Godzilla Ultima has been popping up in stores, and I have not seen that.
The trust dress.
Yeah. I haven't seen that yet, and it doesn't look amazing, but I might buy it because I've never seen one in a store before, so we'll see. I've just been passing on that MonsterVerse shit.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm glad the toys are out there because one of my big concerns was they've waited too long to capitalize on, I think, the success of Godzilla versus Kong. I'm hoping like it wasn't this was successful because it was one of the first big blockbusters pandemic, but like you said, as we are getting vaccines and movie theaters are opening back up for the most part, I'm hoping that it's not going to become almost forgotten. And so hopefully the toys will keep it at least alive in the eyes of like the younger folks like that before the series comes out, a movie comes out, and a Netflix series comes out. I mean, that's a lot of content.
It's a lot.
And if you don't have a lot of fans, like one of those is going to fail. And so I'm hoping that they all succeed.
Sure. I mean, I feel so skeptical about an Apple Plus, an Apple TV. I just don't feel good about something like that lasting. I just don't like. I know you mentioned Ted Lasso, and a lot of people love that, but I just don't see anything on Apple Plus being like a longevity.
Didn't they have the one show though that was like? I want to say it was like they've ponied up a lot of money on some of the shows, and it's like really cheap. It's only like $4.99 or something to get it a month or something, or $9.99 maybe without ads.
Yeah.
But it's like the one show that had Jennifer Aniston and maybe like Reese Witherspoon, all these like A-list celebrities. Like it was like not in the newsroom. Anyway, but they've ponied up a lot of money. It's just so I'm not surprised there because it's Apple. I mean, they do have pretty deep pockets. I'm curious on their distribution other than like this. When it's one of those things I feel people like when Ted Lasso comes on, they buy it and pay for it and they turn it right back off because I don't know what else.
I mean, hey, there's a documentary series out right now. It's 5 episodes. It's a dinosaur documentary series.
Oh yes.
Is it Prehistoric Planet? I think is what it's called.
I know, but it's
or is
Richard
that
Attenborough.
The old one?
Yeah.
Richard Attenborough, and it is getting. I follow a lot of paleo Twitter is what they call it. Like I follow a lot of paleo artists on Twitter, and it's pretty. They've tried to be pretty highly accurate. There's some speculation for some dinosaurs on there as far as like outer appearances, but a lot of people are raving about it, and it came out right as we went to California for Star Wars Celebration, and I was like hoping it was going to be on the plane. I was hoping I was going to be able to watch it on the plane. There were ads for it. One of the Apple stores in Anaheim had a huge ad on it. And a friend of mine asked me about it today, and I was like, no, I don't have Apple. And they were like, hey, you can get a 10-day free trial so you can watch it. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to do that because I'm not going to pay for 5 episodes of a show. But
no, I haven't watched it. It's in the queue. Yes, I've heard wonderful things about it, so I'm very, very, very excited about it. So maybe there's, like I said, we'll see.
Maybe there's hope.
And like
there's hope for Apple.
If the show is good, regardless of the platform, people will get to it. It's just those casual fans that are like, I'm bored tonight. What am I going to watch? You're not scrolling through the platform necessarily, but like it's destination viewing, which we hope it is, then we're good, because things have survived in wackier channels than Apple Plus.
It's weird to even talk about Apple TV like that because Apple is popular. I'm recording on 4 different. I have 4 different Apple products in front of me right now. Apple literally runs my life. So it's weird that their streaming services we're sitting here talking shit about it, but
late in the game. So I'm excited, but so I guess I could end on this. Like, what overall, like, do you feel like the MonsterVerse is something that can continue beyond these shows, or like, do they all have to be home runs? Do they all have to hit? Or do you think it's something that like, because of the goodwill from the first 4 movies,
I just think it depends, because I don't think the movies have all been sure. Like, I mean, they've done fine, but they haven't been big hits. I think 2014 did the best. Yeah. I think, I'm not sure. Maybe. Yeah. I don't remember what 2019 did.
2019 was the worst. It was definitely the worst of the 4.
It did the worst. Yeah. And I mean, I think Kong Skull Island is amazing. I think that movie is amazing. That's a legitimate good movie. Mm. I don't know. It feels all over the place, and like I said, I'm surprised that another movie's happening, let alone a movie, a cartoon, and a live action show. So I don't know. Maybe it's doing well enough that they can keep it going. Maybe people will like it more in a show, and But I mean, saying that, I think one of the big appeals about these movies is getting to see them in a theater.
Of course,
getting to 100%. See, all the giant kaiju stuff in the theater. But I don't know, man. I'm just glad it's happening. It's more than I ever thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get one movie in 2014, and that was going to be the end of it, because that's just how it seems. Like it's an underdog franchise. It's all an underdog everything. So I just hope it does well.
Well, I'll correct myself. Technically, Godzilla vs. Kong did the worst because of, HBO Max stuff. Like it's hard to quantify, but it did. But it only did, in lifetime gross, it only did 10 million less than King of the Monsters, and that was not during.
And King of the Monsters wasn't during a pandemic.
Yeah, so it's Godzilla 2014 did about 200 million lifetime gross. Kong Skull Island was 168, and then King of the Monsters was like 110, 111, depending on what number you look at. And Godzilla vs. Kong was like 100 million, 101 million. But, in 1,000 less theaters with limited seating and going straight to HBO Max as well, I'm sure you could almost double that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it definitely not to pandemic. Yeah.
The day Godzilla vs. Kong came out, I had an appointment that morning to get my second COVID shot.
I remember.
I went and got my COVID shot, and then I drove 2 hours to the nearest theater showing Godzilla vs. Kong, because during that point in the pandemic, my movie theater was only opened on the weekends, like Friday and like Thursday through Saturday or something like that. And the movies premiere like whatever Thursday night or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, my movie theater is not open the day this movie comes out. So I drove to Tallahassee, Florida, 2 hours away, so I can see it in a movie theater. And then I drove home, and then I watched it on HBO Plus. I watched it on HBO that night. I was like, all right, I just can't watch it for the first. If it's in the theater, that's how I'm going to see it the first time. It's, I can't watch that. And I'm glad, because there are some great sequences in that. Like, even though that movie's not great, there's some good.
Hong Kong scene is great. I love the Hong Kong scene.
The
aircraft carrier.
Yeah, the aircraft carrier. That there's a shot where Godzilla is just like staring at Kong through flames, and it is the best thing.
Okay. Yeah. So I did look at the numbers. So I was telling you domestic numbers. If you factor in worldwide then actually Godzilla vs. Kong does better than King of the Monsters. And this is not with inflation or anything, but internationally, if you factor in worldwide box office, Kong Skull Island actually did the best, even better than Godzilla, because the international box office was so strong. But it did cost like $25 million more to make. So I do think net, it's pretty close between the two. I do think Kong Skull Island might have actually made more money. Of course, we don't know the marketing budgets, right? So we don't know. That's the thing. We know the production, but we don't know how much they spent to marketing, if you double it or if you whatever. So, but they all cost around the same to make. That's the crazy thing. Like, the budgets have been pretty tight. It's been Kong Skull Island was the most expensive, and Godzilla versus Kong was the least expensive, but they're all within 30 million. It's crazy. They're almost the exact same thing. So they're all making a little bit of money. So I think that when talking about $500 million worldwide, like you're pretty good. You're probably making some money. So I hope that unless there's the TV show is terrible and the Kong sequel bombed, I think we're going to get more MonsterVerse. I do think the animated show is going to be fine, like regardless. I think it's
I do too. I don't think Godzilla's going to be in that at all. I think it's just going to be a straight up Kong thing, and that's fine. But yeah, and hey, before we get off of everything, since we're talking about this, we're talking about cartoons. Godzilla, the Hanna-Barbera series, the second season that was a little harder to find, it's just getting put on YouTube.
It's amazing. I saw you sent me that note. I was like, whoa, I gotta go back and just like watch all the Hanna-Barbera episodes. I have a few on VHS and stuff, but like it's been a long time, and just like do a watch through on all of those.
I have a good bit of it on DVD, and I don't know what it was like. I remember finding it like in Walmart or something, and it's like Godzilla, and I think it's maybe a rare DVD now. I think they probably go for a good bit on eBay, but I don't know. It's 2 volumes, but I don't know if it's everything, or I don't know how long that show ran. I don't remember how much of it there is. I have some of it on VHS that's just taped off the TV, off of Cartoon Network, and but yeah, I always loved it, even though it isn't God's. I mean, I loved it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Godzilla's done well in animated. You have that one that people love, and then the Godzilla '98 cartoon is actually a really good series.
That's a good show.
Yeah, that's a good show. Yeah. And so so they, like I said, I'm optimistic. I think it'll be fine.
Yep, I agree.
That would be something for a future show, man. Maybe a little animated Godzilla episode. We can talk in a series. Not break down every, because I'm feeling, especially with the Hanna-Barbera one, it could be a little formulaic. But other than that, but we could, got to talk some Godzuki. But that's all I got, man. I thought it was fun to catch up on. Like, there's a lot of shit that's happened in the world of television and and fandom and everything. So, listen,
we didn't even talk about. We both watched. I'm not even. We're not even gonna get in. We're at 2 hours. We're not even gonna get into it. But what's weird is, I watched the first movie in a 5-movie series, and for some reason, Jay, you decided to watch the 5th movie in that.
Oh yeah, 4th.
No.
5th.
There's 2. The movie you watched. What's it called? What's the name of the one?
The Great Yokai War.
Yeah, but did
Guardian.
you which?
First one.
You watched the one from 2005.
Yes.
Okay, so then you watched the 4th movie in the 5th. I thought you would somehow watch the newest one.
No, okay. I haven't seen an English. I haven't seen for Great Yokai War Guardians. I haven't seen an English sub or dub out there yet.
I didn't question it. I just figured since that was the one you picked, I was like, there must be a copy out there. Jay must have just come across or something.
No,
because I know that one's fairly new, but I just think it's weird that we both were like, fuck it, let's start at opposite ends of this franchise and just watch them.
Yeah, and I didn't know, and here, shame on me, because I did not do the research. In my head, this is what it is. Like the original 3 yokai trilogy that you started from the 60s, right? I think it's the 60s, right?
Yeah. Starts in the 60s.
I thought like the Great Yokai War 2005 and Guardians, which came out year or so ago, last year maybe. I didn't know that they were like, I thought they were kind of like a remake or a spiritual, like, no pun intended, of a successor to it. I didn't know they were all connected. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back.
But here's the thing though. I think it's the kind of trilogy that's like, I don't think they're actually connected. I think they call it, a franchise or whatever. I don't want to say trilogy because there's 5 movies, but 2 of them basically have the same title. And I don't know if I've watched the trailers for all of them. Yeah, I've seen the first movie, which I won't get into, but it's legitimately spooky. It's like, it's great. But the last 2 in the series look like they're basically the same fucking movie. They look like the exact same movie. Yeah. And I think the first 3 are not really tied by like any characters or anything, but it's just they're all Japanese ghost films, and they're kind of, maybe, I don't even know if it's the same team making them. I think they're just kind of a light trilogy in name only kind of thing, but I don't think it matters.
We know all about the sequels that aren't really sequels. We know about that. We just did our Frankenstein Conquers the World more than
exactly. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah.
I'm excited.
But yeah,
it was so different. The Great Yokai War was very different, and in a good way. It's all a good.
Well, dude, I don't know if you've ever seen anything by Takashi Miike before.
Too scared.
I think I've mentioned. Yeah, I think I've mentioned it before. Takashi Miike. He's made a lot of film. If you look at his IMDb, he's directed a ton of more movies than it seems possible for one person to direct. But Takashi Miike is famous in the horror world because he's made a couple hardcore horror films, and he made a film called Audition that some people will tell you is one of the hardest movies to watch. I don't think it's his worst. Itchy the Killer is insane. They're like fast paced. They're pretty gory. There was a show on Showtime in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, called Masters of Horror. 1 hour episodes, kind of like a Tales from the Crypt kind of thing. Every episode's its own thing, but every episode was like written and directed by like a famous horror director. So there's like a John Landis episode. There's Toby all these people who have done horror films, and they asked Takashi Miike to do one. This is on Showtime, right? They asked Takashi Miike to do one. He does it, and then they're like, "We can't show this. We can't show this." So they never showed it. They didn't release it, but they put it out on DVD. It's called Imprint. I own it. It is amazing, but it is fucked up. It's fucked up, and like he's like whenever Hostel came out, you remember how like that was right when the fucking guy who made Hostel, I can't remember his name, but he was like, that was kind of a big deal when Hostel came out because it's gross, and American audiences weren't quite used to that kind of gore yet.
Yeah.
But he was like, Takashi Miike is the guy who I worship, and Takashi Miike has a cameo in that movie, because like he's like, the king of that kind of stuff. But then he also, I think Takashi Miike made a Django movie, which was like a Django. If you've only heard of the Quentin Tarantino version, that's an old Western, about a character named Django and Takashi Miike made like a weird Japanese infused Western Django film, and he's made all kinds of weird things. I think he's made a musical. Yeah. I mean,
this is technically a family friendly film. The one that Yokai War.
He's got a couple sides to him, and he makes a lot of. I knew him as only a horror person for a long time, and then if you look at his IMDb, he's just made so many things.
Yes, dude,
but his horror films they're intense. Like they're intense. Yeah. Like some of what I learned when I first found out about like Japanese horror. When Hostel came out, I remember seeing Hostel in the theater and being like, this is not kaiju. This is like a completely different discussion. But
very YHS.
When Hostel came out, I remember the whole advertising campaign was like, "You've never seen a movie this gory before," and I'm like, "I've seen a lot of really gory movies, And I saw Hostel, and I'm like, "Yeah, but this is nothing compared to like the Italian horror films or Zombie 2 or all these other weird shit." And the Japanese horror stuff like Imprint and Audition and some of these other weird movies, they're like on a level that mainstream American audiences are not on. And if you showed somebody Imprint that had never seen that kind of movie before, it's just weird in so many ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, so every time I hear Takashi Miike, when I was like, Takashi Miike got a ghost movie? I was like, I gotta, because even if it's not gory, it's gonna be weird. And it will at least be, his movies are always, even the gross things are still fun. He knows how to like have fun with his movies. So
yeah, I'll tell you, Great Yokai War, if you watch it through the lid stone, this is a movie that kids can watch and stuff like that. And obviously family friendly in Japanese culture is very different than our culture. So
Yeah.
like you also, it's a little bit of a moving target on what that term means, but there are some very weird and unique and different choices. And of course the subject matter itself is weird and unique and crazy and stuff. But overall, I mean, I'm like, I won't spoil it, but like, I definitely encourage people to go watch it. Like it is a good one. I enjoyed it. It was, actually, it was just different than in really any. I didn't have another kind of touchstone to compare it to on what I've seen. So I'm excited, but I'm really excited to watch the Showa era yokai stuff as well. I think it's kind of
100 Monsters is amazing. I watched it right before I left for Star Wars Celebration, so I didn't get to just like plow through all the films. I bought the box set. But I wanted to put the next movie on me because it's got it's got a cool story to it, and some of the yokai they're creepy, man. There's some there's some weird shit, and I loved it. Yeah,
that's I would say the exact same thing about Great Yokai War. I think there's there's some really cool stuff, and hey, anything that has an umbrella yokai, you gotta love it, right?
I love. Yep. There's one in 100 Monsters. There's an umbrella yokai in 100. So nice. Cool. Yeah.
So that's kaiju talk for the.
Oh boy, this is the longest episode we've done in a while. 2-hour episode, and if you've made it through, all this this ranting, then I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around, Jay. You got anything else before we call this one or?
No, leave a review if you can. If not, no worries. We're not going to come track you down.
No, none of that, Jay. There's no worries. Leave a fucking review. Jesus, it's easy to do. Just fucking do it.
Go check us out on Twitter, YHS Monster Pod. That's always good. Go, like I said, I mentioned it before, but seriously, go check out the other YHS properties and definitely YHS Patreon and sign up and help the good people at YHS keep doing what they're doing for all of you great people. And, and we're just, Monster Island just along for the ride, man. We are always going to be here talking kaiju. And then, go buy some t-shirts, below the collar, all the good stuff. You know the stuff.
Everything. Just go do it. There's a lot. Everything. There's a lot to find. We're out there. Guys, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.
Bye.